A third person arrested and charged in the death of little Samuel Olson is out on bond. The Texas Rangers arrested 27-year-old Dylan Walker of Cold Spring in San Jacinto County yesterday. Adam Bennett shows us what happens next in this case.
Mia, Jasper County will take on Walker's case because that's where his alleged crime happened. Harris County judges will handle court for the other two people charged. Meanwhile, prosecutors say a possible murder weapon is being tested. Good morning. The same day the second person charged in this case faced a judge in Houston, the third suspect did too, 2.5 hours away. A Jasper County grand jury indicted Dylan Walker on a charge of tampering with or fabricating physical evidence. That's the same second-degree felony Benjamin Rivera and Teresa Balboa are charged with. Prosecutors say all three tampered with Samuel Olson's body.
It's an extremely serious offense. I mean, especially considering these particular facts that we had a 5-year-old boy whose family potentially would never have ever been able to lay him to rest.
The first suspect arrested was Teresa Balboa. Officers found her inside a Jasper motel room with Olson's body inside a secured plastic tote. Detectives say surveillance video shows a man move the tote from a pickup into that room. Police say that truck was registered to Dylan Walker, and he gave his driver's license at check-in. Walker later allegedly told a Texas Ranger he drove Balboa and a container with a foul odor from a Webster storage unit to that Jasper motel. According to court documents, Walker then told the Ranger he called Crime Stoppers to report Balboa was at the motel, possibly with Olson.
We never ever know who our tipsters are. The only way a tipster's identity is revealed is if the tipster, him or herself, makes a statement that they called Crime Stoppers of Houston and shared a tip.
Mancarius says if they're made aware a suspect charged was also a tipster, they would not be eligible for their reward.
In a situation where there is credible evidence where the tipster, him or herself, is sharing information that only a suspect would know, or in a situation where our law enforcement call takers, the people who handle our tip line, believe that they are talking to a suspect, somebody involved in the case, that person would not be eligible for the Crime Stoppers reward.
Mancarius says Crime Stoppers is still taking tips in this case. So far, no one has been charged in Olson's actual death. Adam Bennett, KHOU 11 News.